Hello and welcome to another episode of Literary Gladiators, the show where we discuss and debate literature in all of its forms. If it's written work, it's game. Let's meet the panel.
I'm Kaila.
I'm finishing an Oreo. Charlie.
I'm Josh, and on the end of the panel is Bunnie the Bunny. This is actually not Bunny's first appearance on the show. Bunnie made an appearance on Guinea Pig or on The Power of Reason back in season 6. And he was used as a figure to stand in for how he described the guinea pig. He is a little bit terrified of Charlie.
Why? Right. Well, I'm sorry. Friends?
Just don't put me in your pants!
It was an accident.
Alrighty. We're going to be going over Life in the Iron Mills by Rebecca Harding Davis. And Charlie, you have a discussion starter?
Work back in the work back in this era, we all know was hard, tedious, and whatnot. How do we compare work from then to today, where we have nice computers, really nice cell phones that we can fit on our side like this, and just basically some people can work from home? Yes, there is still manual labor today, building stuff, whatnot. I get it. People have to do the
Machines
dirty
make
work.
it easier. You would
Exactly.
have
Oh, yeah,
shows,
yeah.
stuff like that.
But back then, and working conditions as well. Okay, OSHA and whatnot. So, what I'm going to try and propose here is, have we gone? No, that's pretty. That might not work because that's an obvious question. But have we? Yeah, have we even gotten better with work in general?
It all
Work ethics as well.
It depends on what ethic you're choosing and what
I'm going with,
area you're talking
okay,
about,
so,
because we're pretty detached from the hard labor jobs that still exist, because there are still people that coal mine.
Exactly.
There's still
we still need
that,
people. There's no, and you know what? That's something else I want to say
there's
too.
welders, landscape.
And I know many people that are. People I know in my band. Several of them are welders. They work on boats and machines and construction. We still need people to do that. So how about this? Even though we have all this technology we have today, does it make it easier, harder, better one, better two?
Machines and technology help,
Yeah.
but there's also certain attributes that come with it.
Exactly.
We
have people spend companies, they spend fortunes and fortunes testing all of these new. Every year a phone comes out. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm saying that's. Well, what does it say about the phone that we were all hyped about 364 days before the new phone?
Yeah, those
and I'm
are
I'm not knocking anyone here. I don't mean to.
Those upgrades are pretty aggravating.
Yeah.
But tying that into this Life in the Iron Mills, I would say that reading. I'll say right out that reading this was pretty challenging. I think it's a very
dry.
It's very dry. It's very
bitter,
but it's more so the use of language and there's a narrator who goes unnamed and does not have a gender, but the concentration is not always on the narrator telling the story.
Yeah.
It seems like this narrator transitions into an overseeing narrator, as well as a first-person account. But the group of people between Hugh Wolfe and his, almost as if he is a piece of machinery, and the people that he's surrounded with, Deborah and there's
Jeannie,
but it's a very I just always found it fascinating how Rebecca Harding Davis oversaw this, and she went forgotten for quite some time until somebody recovered her
Manuscripts?
recovered her manuscripts, and she was able to come back in the light. And
Which is good.
She studied again.
Yeah. And we've read this in, well,
Yeah.
I mean, I read this in before, I think I read this even before I met you. But,
I read this. It was the first thing we went over in Dr. Wardlaw's class. It's a
Yes.
work of realism because
yes, no.
it reflects the Industrial Revolution that was
Exactly.
taking place.
Yeah. But also, you said earlier how Hugh was very attached to the machines, and they were basically, they were just feeding coal, huge, big chunks of coal in the furnaces to power factories. That's what.
In a way, it seemed like he was becoming the machine
That's what I'm
because
saying.
he was working. They gave him so many hours to work.
Hmm.
He would come home, go to sleep, and then have to go right back.
Yeah. And that's basically what we call
The
today
only
the 9 to 5 life.
Only exception was Sundays, where they described that the only people that were there were the people that lived
Essential
there.
personnel.
Yeah, the essential people, and then there were those that didn't have a residence. They weren't able to lodge anywhere, so
Yeah.
they just stayed where they were.
But when you said that, have we today become so obsessed with our technology? Have we become parts of our phones, our computers?
I would say so. I
Okay.
think sometimes it's easier to get in touch with somebody on a phone than in person.
Almost
Yes.
always, I think.
Yeah.
Because you never leave home without your cell phones
Yep.
anymore.
That's just
you know,
like the episode
Yeah.
of South Park where Stan's sister is gushing over this boy, and when
What
she
is
meets
gushing
him, gushing.
Hard eyes. Hard
Yeah.
eyes emoji.
Yeah, she's got a crush on him, and then when they meet in person,
Mhm.
hey,
Yeah.
Yeah.
let's I'll contact you later on whatever social media.
Mhm.
Okay. Oh, talk to me.
Oh, I do that all the time. No, not really. Well, yeah, something like that happened, but it was someone else, a very important person.
But otherwise, was there anything else?
I just find it oddly satisfying, shall we say, how machines back then, even though they were big and cumbersome, and yes, back then there were really no health and safety laws. There was OSHA was not, basically if you had a pulse, you had a job. And today, it's, yes, everyone is, and I'm speaking sort of morally and
And those
ethically.
people were so disposable, they couldn't even, there was this idea that this higher being
Yeah.
might as well wasn't even looking after them.
Yeah.
The way that Hugh died, he had his arms out almost as if he was
Murder.
Yeah.
a martyr, as
Crucified?
the way that he felt.
Yeah.
Not crucified
Well,
as in,
I mean,
it
I'm
was-
saying, yeah,
it almost felt that way.
yeah. I mean,
That
that's
did that.
horrible way to go.
Mhm.
I was told. I know that. Just, it's not every day you want to. Oh yeah, my friend Frank was crucified. I mean, come on now. But we have laws where some people don't have to work. Maybe it's because they have disabilities, which is yes. I'm trying to word this without sounding like a pompous jack behind. We have some laws that prevent people from working. Let's put it that way. Some laws. There are people who want to work, and there are some people who.
That's there
I
are
don't-
welfare laws that are so
Yeah.
extreme that you can't really, if you're, that it almost.
To get just to get insurance.
You're
anyway.
losing something
We
to
also
get a
put that in
job.
here. Yeah.
as opposed to staying on.
I mean,
Because you make more on welfare than
that's what I'm
at a
saying.
job, and then you lose it when you're working. So
Yeah.
it's really
I mean, I know
a
some.
lot of rearranging needs to be done.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that too, and I'm going to flat out say it. There's someone I know very close with. She's on welfare, and I'm not using names, of course, but she does work, but she has to. She's going nuts because they want to know everything. If she makes us over a certain amount, there goes everything. Even if she makes over an extra $5,
You can't really blame them
no.
because there's people that take advantage. Too.
Oh well, yeah, by all means, And I see people who come in where I work. They just come in. You can tell because they go DVDs and smoke. Am I being mean about it? I might be, but and then you criticize me how I'm doing my job. Like, you should have scanned that the wrong way. And I'm quoting someone who, one of my customers, you should have scanned that the wrong way. I don't know how I remember all this crap, but, I said, do you realize what you just said? All right, okay, very good, and, but I try to be very nice and polite. But there are some times I just have to say, do you realize what you just said? And I'll always try and on a good note. Because I 9 times out of 10, I always have somebody who's going to be reasonable where I work.
Alrighty then.
But yeah.
Do we have any final thoughts or things we didn't bring up?
Going back to what Charlie said about work ethic in this world versus our world, I think it boils down to these people are living for their work, whereas we work to make a living. Like, we no longer sacrifice ourselves for our jobs. We go home and we have a life outside of our work. And although technology isn't always great, I think it's because of technology that we're able to do that. Our industries have expanded, and we no longer have to break our necks to make ends meet. Well, we shouldn't have to break our necks to make ends meet, and we're able to do things outside of our job.
It's interesting though,
and we
because
have,
it's very complex. There's so many arguments that can be made about
I can say,
because because the advance in technology really helps as well, but I know that we really set ourselves up very well, but how strong we can, how solid that foundation that we made for ourselves, or the people that live to work made for us. How long can that stay?
Right.
Because as long as we have people that have a halfway decent work ethic, it could probably stay that way. But the fact that we went away from the gold standard isn't very helpful. The value of the dollar is shrinking by the minute. But
cost of living is going up. So in a way, we are part of our machines today as well, because we're so connected. When I leave work, when I clock out for the day, I have the option of checking my work email. I technically, it's like if you got caught doing it, you would be told you can't do that because you're off work. If I ever have to talk to my manager, I have to be clocked in and be paid for it. So that's really nice about where I work. And that's the library system. I might as well just put that out there. So yeah, I'm in the library system for a long time now, but I also sub and whatnot. And you know what? I love it. I don't want to bring that up because I don't want people always coming and say, "Hey, got a new book for me?" Because that's happened already. So, but still,
you're a booktuber, so people are gonna,
But
I think people wanting your recommendations on books
exactly
with them.
But anyway,
if you're interested in checking out Life in the Iron Mills, you can find it in a few anthologies, but the one I have here is Great Short Stories by American Women. And this is the first one in there. I'm almost certain it's
wow, look at all those balloons
oldest
out there.
one.
Sorry, I'm easily distracted.
But I definitely am intrigued to check out the rest of this collection of great short stories by American women. And these are some pioneering figures of women in American literature. Definitely not the oldest, because there's plenty of others, but this is definitely something we're looking at. Be sure to join us next time for another episode of Literary Gladiators, and for now, keep reading.